All right.
All right,
Oh.
I'm recording again now, so you can go ahead and start.
All right, everybody. What are we trading today? All right. Awesome market. Like the market has been on fire. All right. Awesome move. Awesome move today in the market. Okay, so I'm waiting for your symbols. I'm waiting for you guys to give me some stocks so we could get started. By the way, NASDAQ is up 2.5%. SPY is 1.6%. Diamonds 1.6%. No, IW1 1.6% and Diamonds 1%. Wow, what a market. Yeah, awesome. All right, first stock is from Sam. It's EME. EME. All right, let's get started. Oh, this is kind of like a very thin one. All right. All right, just give me 1 second. All right, just gonna get sorted out here. And all right, so let's start top down on this one. So EME is a little thin. I see it like very, very thin. I'm also liking that, the earnings season is going gradual. So something is up for this stock. We had the pullback this month, which is typical because everything, pretty much had the pullback right now. But what I'm seeing is that it's holding really well so far. It has actually a point of entry. So the point of entry is 360 over 360.87. So I don't know if you're in or what your plan is, but over 360.87 has a buy point and it has a gorgeous weekly rotation and it has already triggered because you can see that today is trading at 362.93. That's the high. So it's trading well over 361.46. And it should be going higher towards these highs, the 394. So this is actually the all-time high that we have here. And so the risk for the trade, I like the double bottom support. It winged a little bit lower. So your stop should be under this of newly formed pivot because we could talk about a newly formed pivot. We have rotated, so that looks pretty good. And the first target would be into these tails. If I was in this trade, I would like the target into these tails, the 385.70. And then you're going to shoot for target the all-time high from May 27th. And let's see how high this little guy can go. So beyond that point, you're going to have some additional targets. So once it heads into the 400, you have the 424 and you have the 450. So these are going to be the next two targets into it. Really nice. I'm not a big fan of it. I see it as a little bit thin. If you want, for example, to use it at a short-term swing, so if you're not looking, let's say, to hold this position for a couple of weeks or a month or even maybe more until it achieves target, you could take it with a tighter stop, for example. You see this mini 3-bar consolidation here. So under this 3-bar consolidation, let's see where that low is. So under 350, that would be like a much tighter risk level and may be digestible for more traders. So make sure that you keep it under 350. That's what I would do. So not 352. I would keep it 350 by 360, $10 position size for that. And your first target is going to be into this 50 SMA because it's declining. So it's going to put some selling pressure. So you need to make sure that it bursts through that so I would say the reason why I'm telling you that's the first target is because I would take partial profits is if I was in this at around 368, 369. And if it's not going to have any problems from the price point standpoint, then it should be running higher towards these highs, 386, 387. So actually back into the 400 zone. So that's actually really good. All right. So okay, there's my alerts from trading. The market has closed and probably something has achieved target. All right, so this was EME. So I hope, Sam, that this helped. If you have any other questions about this stock, just let me know, or if you plan on doing anything else with it, shorter term, longer term, would it be helpful? for me to know before we do the analysis. All right, the next one is SOXL. It's a favorite of mine. Okay. All right, so XOXL actually is doing exactly what the market is doing now, and it has bottomed. And truth be told, semiconductors were a little bit weaker than the Qs or within the Qs, right? So then the Q, right? Because you can see that within the Qs, we held this double bottom support here a little bit better. This one winged a little bit down. It was the pressure on price, the velocity pulled it, and then it rotate. It's still under pressure. So I still see it just below this 200 SMA. Okay, the first thing that I like about it is that I'm not into it right now. So I'm not in SOXL. But what I do like is that it's going to close today above the 10 EMA. It hasn't closed above the 10 EMA in a very long time. So since July. So this is real progress because once it clips into the 10 EMA, the 10 EMA is going to shift and it's going to try to push it higher and try to get it into somewhat of a trend. We also have the 20 SMA right here, which is, again, going to be a little bit problematic because it's into these prior lows that we had here towards the end of July. So this is going to be confluence resistance. And that confluence resistance is going to come here and into the $37. Once we escape through this, we have one more line in the sand into the 200 SMA, which is the $39 zone. And if we break through this, a lot of institutions, a lot of hedge funds are going to see this as a wide tradable void opportunity from the 200 SMA all the way to this 50 SMA. Let's see when it reports earnings. If I have it here. No, I don't have it here. Why don't I have it? Yeah. Do you know when it reports earnings? Because that's going to be interesting. By the way, really nice rotation. The 200 SMA right here onto the weekly, it already went a little bit higher. This is actually the green area that you see here is minor support for price. And this is actually really good because it shows that, here it is. I'm going to extend it a little bit so you can see it. So the move was so violent that took the price down below the 200 SMA, below this minor support. This is an ongoing trend still. This is still very, very strong right here. So from October of not last year, but from 2022, it started moving up and it's still into an uptrend, even though we have this really harsh pullback. But this is a massive rotation here. It just needs to clip a little bit above this 36.38 level, and it's squeezing probably to the $40, and above $40, it could actually extend higher back into the 70s. I really like XOXL. All right, so I hope this helped. All right. Oh, that's right. You know what? I was reading Micron. So Nathan posted, and I have the symbol covered by the chat room. So yeah. All right. So let's go to Micron because this is in sync. In fact, you could see that you have the same chart pattern from the weekly. Thanks so much for that reminder. Okay, so I was like, why don't we have it? Why don't we have earnings on this one? I thought the platform was going goofy or something. Okay, so Micron is going to report here. Okay, so yeah, so it's going to report here. It's going to report towards the end of September. Plenty of time for movement. That's pretty good because it will leave a lot of time for to target this 105. And yeah, and it looks really good. I love Micron. I like AMD. I like NVIDIA. I like Broadcom. I like all the semiconductors. I think that they're due to make a comeback. And the line in the sand in Micron is going to be right here into the 105. I think that it doesn't have any kind of obstacle, in the way. The fact that it rotated and it is relatively strong on the day-to-day. This is the weekly chart. I'm going to show you in a minute the daily chart. Look at the earnings. Earnings are favorable. Q1, Q2 right here moving really well. So Q3, let's see how Q3 is. It was you know, in a problem area here with the earnings from 22 to first quarter 2024, but it started to move gradually higher. I like this. I love the semiconductors. I think these are a win. I personally, my favorite is Broadcom and Nvidia, in which I'm literally loaded. All right, so this is the daily chart, and the daily chart suggests that we are in a rotation, just like XOXL. We are still into the 10 EMA. So that is the barrier. It depends on how we close today. We have had literally 3 days of continuation since this inside and out formation. So the squeeze has already, like the first stage of the squeeze is already done, right? Now, if we close a little bit above today, which I think we closed already because it's 4 o'clock. So we closed above the 10 EMA. We have room to run tomorrow into the 200 SMA. So that's 102. Keep in mind that tomorrow we have pre-market data, and those numbers are going to highly impact. So the 830 numbers are going to impact the market. Keep an eye on those. You don't need to know whether they're good or bad. You're going to see the market react to them. And based upon the market reaction, we're either going to witness an acceleration if they're going to be in sync with the market momentum and the trend. You're going to see an acceleration in price, and most likely tomorrow we're probably going to hit this 100 level to 102. So that's going to generate a lot of expansion. And then here we're going to have obviously the next line in the sand. And if we manage to trade above the 200 SMA, then the price is going to get picked up even more. We're going to land into the 110 level. So these are the immediate targets for Micron. And once again, the earnings is in September 20 earnings September 25th. So it gives plenty of time to play out. And remember, typically August is, you know, a pretty good month to trade. September is the month where, you know, things are getting a little bit more choppier, and October, I'm not even going to talk about it. Okay, let's move it to Morgan wants my take on NBIX. All right, NBIX. I'm going to do a top down on this one because I don't know this stock. I haven't traded this. I have to say, in my 20 years, I have never traded this stock. So it finally broke out this month. So within the last 13 days, because it's August 13th, it broke out, and it's trading a little bit higher. So this is good. It had broke out this quarterly chart. So the quarterly chart broke out into the 135, 136, making a new high here. Now we're back to the weekly. Weekly again is signaling a potential breakout. Here's what I do like. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trace some levels on this one. So you can see here that on this particular week, this is the earnings, and that's why you're seeing the volatility going as much. The price went a little bit higher to the 157, 157.79, and it has a low of 138. Now, what I see here that I absolutely love, and like I said, I've never traded this. I have to see what the volume is on this one. I don't trade anything under 1.5 million shares on a day-to-day basis. But this is the buy opportunity. I actually love this formation. It's one of my favorite strategies, the inside and potential out. So this has a buy signal at 150, 156, so over 150, 156, and could potentially unravel to the 157.79, which is the high from earnings. And then it could start moving higher again. So let's see how high it can go. So we're going to do some levels here from this base. It could actually go to 160, and then it can extend, wow, to 180. So that is quite a bit of a target. So these are the levels that, you know, and you could actually get into the 151, over 151, 56. I would actually do 152 just to make sure that it's really consolidating into that high, and it's really taking out that prior weekly high. And the stop clearly, you should put under last week's low, 144. We have the trend that is being captured here, and this is the weekly. So it's in a power trend. Let me tell you this, it's in a power trend. So as long as the price action is not going to violate this 10 EMA, and throughout these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, it has held. So it has a lot of odds of continuation higher. So it looks very good. So Morgan, I hope that, you know, okay. And today's price action is really, really good. Okay, this is going to be the entry. This is going to be your target 1, and we talked about further targets. Okay. All right. Any other stocks that you guys are watching or you guys are trading, and what do you have in your shopping cart? Because we had a huge discount into the market, and I know that I have reloaded on a lot of stocks, and I'm really happy with the results that we currently had. Like I said earlier, Q's, which is tech, 2.55% to the upside today, over 2% up. All right. Let me know. Anybody in here trading? Okay, AMC. See, we're doing the same thing. It's the same chart almost. With AMD and AMC. Okay, so AMC. Okay. This one, I don't know. I don't know about this one. Like, I don't know why, people are so attracted to this. This is, kind of, so it had earnings here. I don't know. Fundamentally wise, it's so flat. I think this stock is so manipulated. I'm gonna give you some levels. What I could see. So current support that has been going on since May is $3.93. We have a declining 200 SMA. The stock is borderline into that $5 back and forth, back and forth. Here's the thing. If it clips the 200 SMA, maybe it's going to try to go higher. I don't know. I mean, this is not something that, trades on a fundamental standpoint. So this is rumors, Wall Street bets, things like that, roaring kitty type of thing. So if you believe in that, then hope for a $5.70 and hope for a squeeze higher into, let's say, into almost the $7. I don't know that this stock is going to react and if it's going to recover. Like, honestly, I don't know. The current context is not that great for this one, but I don't want to discourage you. And if you're holding it, just good luck and keep on holding. What can I say? Position size for this, 0. Like, you can't do anything else with this one. So I hope that helped. AMD is another stock that is requested here. So actually it was AMD and then AMC. So AMD, like I said, pretty much tomato with Micron, but this one is a little bit trickier because you could see the volume is declining here. Not a lot of interest onto the daily. And also here, volume is declining. Earnings all the way. So it had earnings. You can see it here, July 29th. The next earnings season is going to come in October, end of October. So it has a long way to go. Good earnings. However, it's really into kind of like a bad context type of thing. Here's the good side of it. The retracement that we currently had from the highs from March, from March 4th until now. So this retracement, see, we were trying to hold here. We didn't because it was nowhere land. So we retraced into the prior high. Again, it's into the uptrend. So it's into the momentum. It shifted, so it did get a trigger higher as well, just like all the semiconductors, but it's still trading into a problem area. So this is the problem area that I'm seeing here. It is a confluence resistance zone. It's into the prior low right here, and we also have the 50 SMA. Based on the daily, you could still have some traction into tomorrow, but daily is right there, right into resistance, right into that 20 SMA. And it has a nice tail to it. I would say if it takes out today's high into tomorrow, it has a little bit of wider space to fill into the 155. So I hope that that helped with AMD. PDD. All right, so PDD, this popped on my scanner quite a few times. It has a monthly buy setup. So I've looked at this this week. It has a buy setup and a rotation setting up over 145.10. It's holding on the trend, and it has been holding the trend since July. So this is very strong. It's also in the context of a base breakout. So the base breakout, the top of the base is a little bit sloppy. So it's kind of wavy. but you could take it as a rotation here. Your stop, you have two options for the stops. You either place the stop just below this 10 EMA where these tails are at, or you can use the pivot. My favorite strategy to place the stops would be into the pivot low right here. And especially that this pivot low right here coincides with the prior pivot high, indicating the minor support zone that is only present in uptrends and can provoke the traction for higher. So this is on a monthly. This can potentially start running higher. And again, you have predetermined targets here from these highs into 150, 153, and 160, 163. And then if we break this whole context, kind of like a diamond shape, right? If you learned about strategies, diamond shape, head and shoulder, all that fun stuff. I'm really not a big fan of those, but it's nice to know them. Then if it's outside of the diamond, then it could start moving up into the prior high. So it can produce a much bigger squeeze. Pay attention to the volume though. All right, Morgan is asking about AMPH. All right, so AMPH, we're going to take it to the monthly. Again, this is a nice one that is trading into the minor support zone, reinforcing the uptrend motion and the traction that it may get back to the upside. We are having we had actually a really nice month of July in the context of, in the context that we had. And it is sitting now into resistance into the 10 EMA. So the top that we're having is right into resistance here. And you can see that this resistance, just going to use the plain level right here. This resistance is into this problematic low that we have here, right? So not only that, we're sitting on top. So we're trading in between support resistance right now. So we actually need to digest. We need to root. So that's the reason why the price action is spending so many months here, because it's into a confluence area. And once the price action is going to start accelerating above this 45 level, 44 and a half, 45 level, so 45, I would say, it will prove that it may want to squeeze higher. But it may take a little bit more time. Weekly, very sloppy, I would say, had earnings, can potentially, so on the weekly time frame, over $45 could potentially squeeze into 47. Line in the sand again into the 47, but if it takes out the 47, it's going to try to grind a little bit higher. Not as much probably into the 50. It doesn't have the smooth tradable void like other stocks are having, but it could work. It could work. Okay. Any other stocks that you guys have for me? By the way, nice move in Intel. Intel? Don't you guys have Intel on your list? Intel on the list with short squeeze possibilities. Lemon squeezy. Walmart. WMT. Walmart is into a really nice rotation point. It has already triggered. Okay. And this was the trigger point over $68.70. It has already triggered. This is actually a really good stock. This is mostly a growth stock like Walmart, Costco. These are solid. I know sometimes Walmart is a little bit more boring. Costco is a little bit more active. I, in particular, trade more Costco than Walmart because it makes better returns and has a better track record. But as you can see from earnings, everything is in the clear, everything is green. So it has a really nice potential from the weekly. Once it gets and stays above that $68.70. Today it tapped, and like I said, I'm not a big fan of moving averages. They're just spaghettis on the line, but you have to take a look into what's happening because a lot of algos are reacting to these levels. So there again, yesterday we went into the 20 SMA. Today the price actually got rejected from the 20 SMA. So now tomorrow we need to punch above the 20 SMA, which would mean that we need to get it over $69 again, 69, 69, 20, 69, 30. Above that price, we could tackle the prior high. So the next immediate target would be into the $71. The next targets, like I said, you could do some fibs to find out because we're already trading, as you can see, this is a quarterly chart, we're trading into all-time highs into this stock. So I hope that helped. All right, AMD. I think we covered AMD. We already talked about AMD. Yeah, we talked about AMD. JP Morgan. All right, JP Morgan, yes, financials are still bullish. And I was telling my traders in the trading room and as well in the stock swing trader, where I call trades and alerts, and we swing trade and we actively invest in there. And I was telling them that, this pullback that came was to clear a lot of stops out. And it shook the trade really hard because they wanted to, the market is definitely very strong fundamentally. Earnings season has been relatively good, and we're not seeing any kind of changes in the structure in the economics as well. So things are positive. Things are still positive. Again, we don't know how they're going to be into the next quarter, but for now, this is what we're going to be analyzing. And I was telling my clients that as long as we are having strong financials, the market is not going to give up. The market is going to be relatively strong, because once you see financials failing, that is the time when you need to worry about the market, time the stops, or even to start shorting. As long as we're having a strong market, JP Morgan, Bank of America, American Express, Goldman Sachs, they're all very, very strong into the same on the same line. And you could see here that we have support into the 190. Like I said, when you're getting a velocity move, the velocity takes the support. So basically they were taking the stops from 190 all the way to this low here of 186. So they really pushed it lower so they could get their hands on more. Here's the technique. Typically, election year, you're running super bullishly until September, mid-September to maybe mid-September to the end of September. So that's the reason why institutions are still buying it at this point. I'm not seeing a lot of institutional buying. I'm seeing legging in because I'm not seeing any kind of spike in volume, but that's definitely buying. So we have a weekly rotation in the financials here as well in JP Morgan. The trade has already triggered, so it should continue to the 216. And that is if we don't get any panic numbers tomorrow morning. Okay. So JP Morgan, Generac. I love this stock. We traded this year, Generac, and it has a really good potential. As you can see here, it had earnings July 29th, and right after that, the week of July 29th, and right after that, it pulled back a little bit, but it held support. So this is the most important thing, that it is holding support, and this is the major support that we're looking at. And if you can see here, I'm going to extend this line just a little bit so you understand that this is coming in an ascending manner. So you can see here that we're getting that really nice projection higher, that minor support effect. So we're having the low, we're having a higher low, we're having the second higher low confirming the change of the trend, because that's what you need, right? In order to start to change the trend. So the high from last week is 148.19. Draw the line right there. So anything that trades over 148.19 should start moving higher towards 168. I love to trade Generac, and especially during this time, being a Floridian, obviously this is going to have the potential to start moving higher. First hurricane, and sales are going to go up in Generac, and you're going to have that panic buying into Generac, and it's just going to be very good for the stock. And not only that, but when a hurricane hits, and this is something that you guys should already know, focus that day, or when you hear it, that, oh my God, it's intensifying, it's getting into category 2, category 3, category 4. If they're saying a category 5 or something that is approaching the US, whether anywhere, East Coast, West Coast, wherever it is, focused on Home Depot, Lowe's, Generac, etc. So all of these stocks are going to start moving higher. So that's a great trading opportunity for us. We're going to be taking advantage of this. All right, so I hope that helped. Next stock, what are you guys watching? What do you guys have on your watch list? We still have about 30 minutes left. I'm ready for your calls. All right. Amazon. All right. Amazon, I actually love Amazon as well. Amazon, really nice rotation, has already triggered for the week. It's already trading into the $170 today. The trigger was over 168.55. It's in an uptrend. It has been up a lot this year. And let me show you. All right. So yeah, January. This is the January right here. So it's still up. See, from this low, let's do a quick projection. Still up over 18%. It was up like 40%. It gave back a lot. It was up only like 5% on this recent pullback, but right now into the 170, it's still up about 18%. So it's still, doing doing good. TJ, I love that. I love that idea. But again, here with Amazon, you can see the little grind higher. You're going to have to take it very slowly. And what I think in Amazon is that you should not put all your position size. This is more like a little bit of a longer term. Don't look for it right now necessarily as a swing, but more as a legging in. Okay, so it's not too late. You can still log in now, but based on your risk tolerance, and then add as it's going higher. It has certain resistance levels. First off, it was right here. First of all, this was the earnings from April 30th. And this is the level that it violated. Actually, it went a little bit lower. It had the 200 SMA right here. It was too nice to be true to get the rotation above 170, so it had to get in a little bit deeper, but it should be doing really well. The weekly actually looks good. I love the V formation right here that it has. It's above the 200 SMA, so it has all the elements for a continuation higher. And Amazon is just going to get better as we're going into the end of the year. So keep that in mind. Usually performs really well in November and December, and even in January, February. So watch that. So this is right here. January, remember what I said, it performs really well January and going into February. This is growth right here. This is growth month. And this is October, exactly what I was telling you guys. So it goes October, November, December. So this is the prime gain for Amazon. If you're looking through price action and analyzing it, you're going to see that. It's really good. Okay, Moderna, mRNA. Okay. I, as a trader, as an investor, I stay away from anything that is pharmaceutical, that is biotech, that is airline, that is, I mean, with calculated risk, I may go like airline and stuff like that, but I try to stay away. Anything that is travel industry, these are prone. I like to hold them for a relatively longer period of time, and these are not my favorite, because like God forbid something happens, the travel industry is down, and the travel industry is everything that I've mentioned. But and the biotech the same. I like with these ones, you have to be very careful because I don't know if I should say what I should say, but I mean, be very careful with these. They can go on a hype. We actually made money in Moderna, and we made like double-digit returns on it. We actually captured this move right here into the 200 SMA. Let me just put it on. Okay, so this is what we traded. We traded the breakout here all the way to this high. Okay, so we caught this move. This was the breakdown, is below the 200 SMA. Now it's trading into this cluster here. So if you want to short it from the technical standpoint, under $78 is a potential short, and you have a relatively tight stop, 86. But remember that if they're going to get any financing of any kind, of any viruses or whatever is going to happen, this stock can definitely go ballistically higher. So just FYI, that be very careful with it. But I like shorting it. Okay, I would like to short everything that is pharma. Okay, so that's just me. All right, anybody else Well, you guys, are you guys trading Microsoft, Apple, Amazon? What about Broadcom? Nvidia. Wow. Aren't you guys trading Nvidia? All right. What else are you guys looking at? DXCM. Wow. Okay, DXCM into oversold area. You can see like it had earnings, killed it. Since then, the price action squeezed a little bit into the 10 EMA. The question is that this 10 EMA right here, just like with Intel, but Intel is a clean, very, very clean squeeze. This is a very, I would say, choppy squeeze. The squeeze here would be over 73.50. It already triggered here. And if you want to try it out, the stop would have to be below this low 62. And it could potentially squeeze, but you can see where the problem was here. The minor resistance that I have been talking about is this prior low. That's why you're having this topping tail, right? That's why you're having this topping tail. Let me just take this out. That's why you're having this topping tail into this prior high. So that's a big question mark right here. Is it going to go higher? And it's going to be a week by week basis. You can see that we had the slowdown. So the volatility contraction over here in the week of July 29, which is good, right after earnings. If we dissolve this $74 area, let's see what this low is here, 74.75. So let's call it the 75 area. It could potentially squeeze to 89. Okay, so this is what I see for this stock. It's trying to grind a little bit higher. It's having a really hard time. The volume is declining, so nobody's interested into it. I would just move along to a different trade. Nvidia, that's just me. Okay, Nvidia. Well, this is my entry, 107. Printing dineros. You can see here today we almost had the 117, $10 this week. Oh, call this like instant gratification. It has room to go into the 120 level. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Now it's into minor resistance from the prior low. If we're closing very strong tomorrow, we may have some more traction over this number. Again, tomorrow, be very cautious about the numbers that are coming out because this, ladies and gentlemen, is still a little bit downtrending. So if tomorrow we're going to have some numbers that are not going to be in sync with the market momentum at this moment in time, and if the price action is going to get under this low right here of 109, the market is going to move down and it's going to try to, and we don't know at that point if this low is going to hold or what's going to happen. So that tomorrow is going to be a really big day for the stock market. And it's going to be the most important thing. Don't forget, because I wanted to add something at the beginning of the presentation. Be very careful trading this week, especially stocks, or if you're trading Qs, buys, diamonds, whatever it is. Russell, be very careful. Option expiration is on Friday, and you are going to see like a lot of chaos into the market. I've told my traders that this week in particular, you're going to see a big up move. You're going to see a whole lot of sideways, and you're going to see a down move, and not in that particular order. Now, remember, today we have the big up move. Tomorrow, if we have the numbers, we can have a continuation of the big up move. If not, tomorrow we can actually have the big down move. So be very, very cautious. All right. So be ready with the trailing and everything else. So I'm ready. Tomorrow I'm going to be at my computer a little bit earlier. I'm going to be around 8 o'clock or so because at 8:30 we have data and I want to have some pre-levels already determined for my trails. MNMD. All right. So I hope that helped with NVIDIA. MNMD. Ta-da. All right, Mind Machine, Mind Med. All right, so I can see right off the bat, this is super thin, super thin. Not something that I love. You guys know that. Because I like to trade with institutions or trading. Okay, so not what retail investors are. But anyways, I like the fact that it's holding the 200 SMA on the daily. Do I like that? Yes. I don't like the fact that the price is squished in between those declining moving averages, right where I'm holding this cursor at about $8, and the 200 SMA. So it's sandwiched and it's holding the price compressed within this range. So now you got to wait and see, is like, what is the price going to do? Like, is it going to explode higher? Is it going to break lower? It's obvious that if it breaks the 200 SMA, it's toast, done. Okay. And if you look at the weekly here, right, the 50 SMA is holding it, but look how bad it looks here. You haven't had any activity here. This is like that AMC, right? You're holding it and you're hoping. Stop hoping and start trading what other people are trading. But you know, this one, I don't even have a level for it. No, this is bearish. This is mostly bearish. Yeah, if it takes out these lows right here, it's literally toast. Under $6 is toast. And I would say above last month's high, like this is the month of July, let's say over $9.70, anywhere above that. So well above that, 75, etc. Maybe it's gonna go a little bit higher. It has, look, stocks that have been basing at the bottom for a really long time, they have a reason why they're basing at the bottom for a really long time, right? So they're not on, you know, the demand is not really high for them. So yeah, that's my take on it. Next one is TSM. All right. Now, again, these are, let me just take the levels out. All right, so we can have some clear. Okay, here we go. Boom. All right, so this is very strong. And today we had a really strong price action. I don't know if you're in. If you're in, congratulations. If you're not in, you may have another buy opportunity. We have a really big level of resistance here into the 173s. If it takes out the 173, it's going to start moving higher towards the prior high into the 193. And this is on a daily basis. You could actually get in on the action with a tighter stop just below the 10 EMA. That would be just below 163. So 173, bullish above, and 163.25. It could actually be bearish below, because if it violates that, it's bearish below. But it could act as a support. Tomorrow's data is going to be decisive on that. So, all right. Any other stocks you guys are watching? Disney. Yeah, somebody was asking in here what data we're getting tomorrow. We have the CPI numbers, really important for inflation. And on Thursday, we also have unemployment claims, which is going to be big, and core retail sales. All right, so let's talk about Disney. Disney is, oh, I don't know. Somebody somebody sent me a picture of the Disney castle, and it was exactly like this. Like, it was the castle, and then game over. But this Disney is under a lot of pressure. I don't see Disney moving higher anytime soon. It's just not responding well. And with inflation, Disney's not doing well at all. Disney actually it's literally hanging on a cliff here into the $85 from a prior low that we had in 2022. And you can see here well below the 200 SMA. Huge selling came out here, as you can see, within earnings. So huge selling. And it's not looking that good from the weekly perspective. You could see here that last week we were trying to hold, and we were trying to hold the doji. So let me tell you this. So I'm not going to be trading it to the short side. I'm not going to be trading it to the upside. But there are two levels here that would interest me in this doji, like for very short term, and probably would interest you, because it's not interesting to me. But under $83.90, it could potentially unwind lower to the prior low that we have here into the 78. So it could actually move a little bit lower. I'm seeing a lot of heavy duty selling pressure coming in. It's under all the moving averages. So it's definitely very bearish at this point, but it could potentially be bullish above 92.61 or bearish below 83 and 83.80 or so. Yeah, I like to put my money where the action is. GLD. Okay. So yes, I am a GLD. So disclaimer, right? Of course I favor it because I love it and I am in GLD. And it is definitely higher. We have like tons of, rich targets above. So we're looking for a 235. We're looking for a 241. So it could actually expand from the technical standpoint. And we have been trading this in the futures, futures trading room, and we actively have it in our stock swing trader program. And it was called actually last month. So it was called in July. So I'm biased here for it. It was very bullish. It's sitting technically above the 10 EMA, has tons of participation. And it is seen as literally, if you analyze it and analyze the data, usually into election years, usually gold is seen as a safe haven. So a lot of individuals carry positions in gold as they go into election. Yeah. So so I'm gonna hold it. For me, it's going to be my one of my election, because I started working on my election list, which I have it for every year. So my safe election list. So we transition with our program and our members, keep them super safe and profitable. All right. Another stock is MEDP. Oops, I was typing it in the wrong place. MEDP. Okay, so MEDP, it's somewhat uptrending. However, it crossed below the 10 EMA and the 20 SMA. So it's under a little bit of, it's into a little bit of a problem zone right here. So like I said, it's somewhat okay. Med-Pace Holdings. Very thin, very thin. Okay. The monthly chart is looking better because it's trading right into the 10 EMA. Do you own this? Do you own MEDP? What are you, I'm just curious, Morgan, what do you want to do with it? Are you in it, or are you in MEDP, or what do you want to do with it? Like, out of gazillions of stock, this is kind of like not that great. Anyways, breakout potentially over 395, but the trigger is coming right into this chop right here. So I wouldn't do it. It could potentially go, but it's coming right into this chop. It has pretty good earnings, as you can see from the bottom here. So really good earnings. This would be more like, if you're looking at it, you haven't answered what you want to do with it, whether it's long-term or swing or whatever it is. So I can guide my answer according to your need. But well, I can tell you, if you don't want to answer, it has support right here, right? And it has an area of support. It's confluence with the 200 SMA that is rising. It could potentially start moving higher. What I don't like is that within earnings, right? It kind of like shifted and it revisited the prior earnings, right? So within a whole entire earnings season, so in the prior earnings season, it didn't do anything, zero, right? So what is different? So you better do a little research on what they do and what they plan on doing, because other than that, you're going to have your money sitting in something that is not going to move and doesn't have a potential to move. I like to research a lot my stocks to see, what they're up to. PLTR. All right. We still have 10 minutes left. So it's PLTR. PLTR is a sandwich into the highs. I like it. I'm in at 28 bucks. So disclaimer, biased. Volume is pretty good. Earnings are good. We're getting it's a little bit extended, but it could still punch a little bit higher. So I'm looking for targets all the way 35 and 40 bucks from the monthly, right? And I love the fact that it's actually doing an inside bar today. Yesterday, I was getting ready to trail it and to put my stop at a break even or a little bit into the break even, but it already hit one of my targets. One of my first target was 30 bucks. So I'm sitting very comfortable with half the size with profits at 30 bucks. And right now, most than likely, I'm going to raise my stop tomorrow into a break even. So I have a risk-free trade. It's my favorite way to trade. Place it at break even. So yeah, it does have a lot of potential. TFC. All right. So TFC, again, trading into minor support. Love this. Love the minor support. Whenever you have something that is trading into minor support, this is good. Again, when I trade, I don't always trade only technical. Because I do have financial background and I was investing, pro investing, and also, traded, I have vast experience in investing and swing trading. I could tell you that I look at fundamentals and fundamentals are not very happy here. And that's why it's having pressure, it's having this pressure on price. So fundamentals are a little bit off. From the technical standpoint, it could have a buy point, not a lot of risk to reward ratio. So be careful there. But the buy point is over $47.67. So anything acceptable above, not at the 0.67, but above 70 or 75, whatever. And you have a clean target of 45, clear target of 45 into the prior highs. It's actually 45.31. So 45. And it's going to be a 1 hour trade. The stop is right here just below last week's low. And that is where? 39.92. Yeah, 39.92. That's pretty much it. All right. Anything else you guys are watching? What do you guys have for tomorrow, for example? What are you guys watching for tomorrow? You have a watch list? This is the best time to create your shopping list. Okay, DJT. Okay, so DJT on the weekly is trading into support, and it's actually minor support. Excuse me. It's actually minor support that it is where it is into right now. It had earnings, not too great. But let's go to the daily here. Okay. So the daily here, you can see that it's sitting on a lot of support, right? A lot of support. It's not something that I would trade. I don't know what you want to do. Are you in and holding it, or what are you doing with it? BJ. What are you doing with it? It doesn't have a buy point, doesn't have a sell point right now. You're in it. It doesn't have a sell point. It doesn't have a buy point. So if you're in it, you're in it to win it, right? Okay, so it's into minor support. I'll give you that. I was in it. I exited. I gotta be honest. I was in it. I exited. So it does have this support right here. That's all I can say. It has the support right here. If it doesn't hold this support, it's going to fall a little bit more towards the $16. It doesn't have a buy point yet. See, in order to have a buy point would be so far, would be like in a $45 zone. The quarterly doesn't look that great. It's very much sideways. See, since it launched in 2021, you could see that it's literally sideways. It had, a high and a lower high, and it's sitting. I think this is more, kind of like buy and hold type of trade if you're in. All right. Okay. Anything else? LUMN, TJ, LUMN. All right. Okay. I was scrolling to see if there are any other questions. All right. LUMN daily. Daily could potentially have a buy point tomorrow. over today's high, actually over $5.15, over $5.18. This is the buy point with really a clean signal for the stop. The stop should be under $4.40. Just give it about 10 cents to that stop. And it could potentially go higher into the $6, $7, $8. So it looks very good. LUMN looks very good. Chipotle. CMG. What are you testing? Testing my Daniel, I like the way you're posting, like you're posting the name of the stock, assuming that I know the ticker. Yeah, I do know all the ticker symbols. All right. So I feel like you're testing me or something. Okay, that's funny. Okay, so you have support right here into wow, nobody's eating out anymore. Like, wow, what's going on? This is the daily. Today was really, bad for the stock. A lot of selling going on. I don't know, was there something wrong with their food today? Did some news came out? You have to research on that. That's why I use Benzinga Pro, because it gives me the news on that as well. So bottom line is that today had a huge swing from a high of $56.15 to a low of $48. Ooh, that's painful. So it tapped into the prior support. It winged back up. Oh, the CEO left. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, got it. I mean, they were doing pretty well with the CEO and they're, yeah, whatever they had going on there, it was pretty well. And here, by the way, don't be worried. The pullback is because everything pulled back. So no big deal. Let me go back to the daily here. You know what I would do with this one? Tomorrow, I will look on the 4-hour and see if it's going to recover, because see, on the 4-hour, you already have like an inside bar. You could go bullish above. You could do like an intraday trade. And then if it keeps on going, and if it's taking out this high right here, then you could actually add into it. So I would add any kind of strategy based on the 4-hour in tomorrow's trading session, not pre-market or anything, just in tomorrow's trading session. So after 9:30, I would look either on the 1-hour or I would look on the 4-hour. And then I would take it as the day trade with a target into today's high. And if it's really closing into today's high, I would keep it for a swing. Yeah. So, all right. So if you guys, I'm done. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is I want to invite you guys. How many of you guys in here are day traders? And if you are, I am going to be inviting you right now. This is okay, let me see. I hope I'm, okay. Yeah. Am I sharing this? I think so. Thanks so much. Okay. 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 Cool stuff. All right. So here it is. Am I sharing this? Do you guys see this? I think so.
Yeah, I see the open house thing.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, so David, I know, thank you so much, has posted this. So if you guys want to day trade with me live every single day, I just sent out an email with the money that we made today. And yes, we made money. That's what we're all about. Yes, there's a replay from for day one. Shoot me an email at info@tradeoutloud.com. All right, we talked about trailing and what I use for a trailing strategy today. Tomorrow, by popular demand, I mean, this is an open house. Should be about, how I trade. And, a lot of people wanted to learn how to enter orders on the platform, which I'm accommodating because it's about you guys. So if you want to jump in tomorrow morning, this is what we're going to be doing for about 5 minutes. So the first 5 minutes from 9 o'clock to, it's not in the schedule. I shouldn't be doing this, but a lot of the people in here today in the open house today wanted to know that. We also have a lecture scheduled, but not for tomorrow, for the last day, about position sizing and the holy grail of being consistent as a trader. So it's free, 3 days, August 13th through the 18th. Here it is. You can just click this link and it's going to take you to a Zoom login. So yeah, any last questions, everybody? Thanks so much, David. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. I guess this is